Hey, what's going on, guys? Inglorious Gun here, and we have another ranked match here for you. We actually are slowly climbing out of bronze. This is still bronze 2, mind you, but we actually had a pretty fucking banger match, around 31 kills altogether between attack and defense. And what I really appreciate about this gameplay, not only just having like a good match, but I think it highlights a few key components that play into game sense, right? So one of those being map awareness, kind of knowing where like you have additional healing stations in the advent that your or I almost said survivalists, your strategists are not like in the vicinity and or the sight line of you to provide heals. And in this instance right here, I feel like I'm kind of getting fucked up. I disengage, and then since we're right by the door, that thing's going to put me back at full health within, I want to say, like 2 to 3 seconds, if that. And we're kind of back to being annoying, doing damage, and proceeding to pester the front line and hopefully get a frag here and there, eventually pick off their healers, and just kind of continue down. And ideally, that's how every game should go, right? But unfortunately, that's not always the case. And that definitely happens here as well. You know, this was a good game, all things considered, but on our attack phase, we didn't really like clean house in the same sense that I was kind of expecting. Like for the amount of frags that we were getting and the amount of displacement that I thought was occurring just between the eliminations I was providing and then how consistent my team was being, we actually were held pretty decently. And same can be said for like our attack phase as well. Even though it feels like you're providing like an absolute shit stomping, the reality of the situation is how fast is that objective moving? Are we getting the points we need? And especially under the circumstances of like a really hardcore back and forth where you're just trading rounds basically, that time mitigation factor is huge, right? That's under very specific circumstances. And in bronze, I really don't think you're going to be having too many OT scenarios where that's going to be applicable, but I can only imagine that happens here or there, especially at the higher ranks once the skill level starts going up, right? But yeah, just keeping an eye on my health, beating the ever-living shit out of their tanks, Penny Parker, and then as soon as one of their healers, like Rocket, kind of steps into the through line, that's my immediate priority. That's kind of the best part about Cap, since he has so much mobility. He can kind of go into the back line, fucking disrupt them. If they're distracted with me, and then one of two scenarios happens, right, where their team is completely ambivalent to it, which more or less kind of happens throughout this game, or B, their entire team turns to me, and then while admittedly I get fucked up, that allows my team to move forward or potentially isolate, get a pick, and, chip away at their defenses gradually. We push the card up and so on and so forth. But a lot of this was just like a gauntlet of healing on both ends. Just, you know, everyone's doing their job to an effect. We're all doing damage in excess or blocking or whatever have you, but as soon as that chain is broken in the sense that like, hey, here's Rocket, like I'm going to fucking snuff this raccoon out, and then the Hulk is not going to have an alternative once he goes back to Bruce, anything to kind of keep him alive if he is looking to disengage while his meter goes back up, right? And there are some close calls here for sure. There we are, like using the Furious Leap or whatever the fuck it is very poorly. I was almost positive I was gonna die there, but thankfully they didn't have a ranged hero that cleaned up the kill, so we were able to pick up a health pack and then be in our sight line of our strategist, which is really your key to victory here. Obviously the quality of your healers are going to vary, but making their job easier in the sense that you are at least in front of them inadvertently definitely goes a long way, since they really only need to do a button click here and there depending on the hero they're playing, right? But yeah, we're cruising and bruising, nothing else too crazy. It's a little congested with the ranked format. I am recording on PC as compared to with like PS5. I can do I was gonna say like the flashback recording method, or whatever they have, where they basically have like a reserve of recording up to like 15 or 30 minutes, like, and then that cache kind of clears out gradually as you play here and there. But that's really beneficial to me just on the content creation sense of things, just kind kind of not playing without the pressure of knowing that it's recording or burning data. And if you're trying to do like a live commentary, God forbid, you can only imagine how many fucking games are just eventually deleted. 30 minutes worth of footage or full comps just completely ruined because you end up getting shit stomped and the footage isn't very engaging or educational in any sense. So just kind of being able to play at my own whim and then being like, oh shit, like we have some good footage there, and recording that back is definitely really useful. And thankfully that's just across the game as a whole with their history system. But recording on PS5 definitely provides the less obfuscated perspective. But I do like having my team's information present, at least on the run back. You see where like everyone's kind of at, and then it's interesting to know like that their ultimates are available, in the sense that the only way you would know otherwise is like when they're actively using it, or if you had a teammate telling you, right? So definitely a lot of cases where I could be like, dude, why the fuck didn't you pop ult here? But everyone has their reasons, and it's all circumstantial. But we're speaking of popping ults, we're popping in here, trying to focus down Rocket, and then this Frank Castle is on fucking dial-up. Had no idea I was right behind him. We're going after Penny's AoE healing bot fucking mechanism. I forgot the name of that specific ability, but definitely what I would say is the focus, if you can help it, if you're not getting immediately melted by the entire team, if you can throw that down, that would be the go-to. Oh, and then a fun little thing I like to do with Groot's walls, right? So like as I stated beforehand, or I might have failed to mention, with Cap's passive, as soon as you hit the second hit, he does get a range extension with his shield, right? So if there's a Groot wall, it's not necessarily going anywhere. I wouldn't advise trying to beat it down in terms of providing any kind of sense of damage, but I do use it to buffer my ranged attacks on Cap. So I'll go hit the wall twice, and then my shield's charged. You have that number indicator for your next 2 hits, and then I can go throw my shield, do a little bit of chip damage, if anything, or potentially set up like enough focus damage that I can dive in and disrupt or get a pick on one of their healers. So just something you'll see me do, especially on the attack round as well as this or should I say the defense round, right? Yeah, the defense round. But pretty cool. I just was paying attention to that today, and I'm trying to keep that more in mind while I'm playing Cap. So yeah, now here we are on the attack phase. And we really we only got 1 fucking point on the board, right? So like I wasn't necessarily like blown away with our ultimate performance, but all things considered, this has been a brawl between both teams. Though I feel like I've just been mollywopping the shit out of people, right? Just like bringing the pseudo power of capitalism and freedom through Captain America, and just creating all kinds of violations that PETA probably wouldn't approve of, considering how much I've been fragging the shit out of Rocket Raccoon. But I digress, right? But yeah, just kind of making sure that I can run out my shield here. You can see me buffering my attacks like I was mentioning beforehand with the Groot wall, since if I'm waiting for my shield to recharge, I am going to be using the objective essentially to block as much incoming damage as I can. That way I can kind of reset partially without entirely disengaging, right? And but it seems like my team is pretty fervent with the support. Again, Jeff the Shark, making sure I got plenty of surplus health there. In the event that things drop down, and we can just get right back into brawling with Groot. So definitely had a good team here. I can only hope that's going to be the case for the games after this, when the camera's not recording, but we shall see. I'm really hoping to hit silver by the end of tomorrow, or whenever I have more free time to play. But yeah, they really couldn't get any momentum here, and that timer goes down a lot quicker than you realize. I was fervent about getting that rocket and was absolutely cucked out of that kill, but you can't always get what you want. You got to take your victories where you can get them, right? But rolling back into the game, we got an idle Bucky. He's checking his emails, and people are kind of taking it easy here, but I wouldn't say like we have that big of a stronghold. Yeah, like people are dying on my team, and we don't have 3 points on the board. They still got a fair distance to cover, about like 1.5 points, but it only takes about a wipe or two, and then before you realize it, you lost the fucking game when you thought you had it in the bag. And the hubris of certain players is definitely evident. Lots of accusations get thrown around when the throw happens, but we've all been there, and you just got to take that shit on the cheek and keep it rolling. So, you know, things were looking not great here. We were getting staggered a bit, but they really don't have that much time in excess, so I think the ideal would just to kind of be regroup. We allow our strategist to follow up in the back line, and then, you know, you can only hope your fucking DPSs are going to get any kind of frags, but I kind of step in with the ult and take care of that here. So Bucky goes down, there's Penny, and then we're jumping in on Groot. Rocket's going to be in the back line along with Spider-Man. If you can focus Pete down, that's fine. He's not really like my primary objective unless he's actively trying to fuck me up, right? He's going to be moving around so much anyway, and this I felt a little bad about this. I'm hunting this motherfucker down like right before the gate, but I said no to you. Enjoy that 9-second respawn timer. But yeah, we're back on their front line. Bucky's at like fucking negative health here, so after swatting at him for a bit, we get that kill, pick up Groot as well. And yeah, man, this was a clean wipe. This shit was pretty much in the bag. Penny was isolated, and she goes down. And then poor Rocket again, doing the right thing in this situation by backing the fuck up. Definitely should be behind all of his teammates, fodder aside, but it's also frustrating playing healer, wanting to make sure you're hitting the objective, right? Because then what else are you doing outside of just keeping your dipshit teammates alive? I definitely can I can find some sentimentality with or empathy in that sense, because I've been there as a warlock, as a raccoon, as all kinds of healers. But we'll see. I think I might start playing more Mantis as well, switch it up and see if I can work my way into other roles. But thankfully Vanguard has not been an issue to fill, so pop another ult here. Fun fact with Cap, he also has a repelling factor with his shield up while you're running and or while you're blocking as well during his ult. So you can actually like nudge people off the side of the map. Again, very circumstantial, but it's cool that it has a knockback factor. You get a little extra damage, and displacing people, again, is probably the biggest benefit, if anything, in regards to playing Cap on Marvel Rivals. So we got this last push here. Just fucking throwing fists and shields all over the place. And yeah, mistakes were made. They wipe. Peter is left here. And unfortunately didn't touch the cart, and that's game. But yeah, thank you guys today. I know this is more of like a laid back rank analysis, but fun game all the same. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. Going to be trying to stay consistent with doing this one video a day thing, and hopefully I'll have something more of substance for you tomorrow. But all the same, have a great night.